Hi, welcome to the Compassion Project and Moments That Matter. Have you ever said to yourself, if I can just get to retirement, then I'll be happy? Only to have a health scare grab you and change everything? Oh, that's such a powerful statement. And my guest today is Deanna Leonard. I am honored that you're here, Deanna, to share a
Oh,
moment that matters in your life. Welcome.
thank you, Jane. I'm honored to be here. I'm honored you asked me, and I love having the ability to share my story. So thank you.
Yeah. So, a little bit about Deanna. She is an incredible woman. We haven't known each other that long, but I know just from the short time, the couple months, that she has just the biggest heart, is full of compassion, and she's dynamic, ambitious, and has a goal to help so many women. I think it's what'd you say? 1 million women find their joy?
Million. Yes.
Absolutely love it. So, Deanna is a 20-year plus corporate executive who helps teams, women, and companies find their joy, mission, and their purpose. She has overcome some big challenges in her life and has learned to go from fear to fierce.
That's right.
That's what we all need to go from fear to fierce. On a personal note, Deanna has been married to her cyclist enthusiast husband, Barry, for 29 years. And she's raised an amazing son, Corey, and she's a doggy mom to 3 adopted puppies. I'm a puppy enthusiast too, so that's where you find joy in a puppy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So welcome. I'm excited, and we're going to get right to it. I
Okay.
I love to start with a question that I really believe that we have these moments that change us, and I'm really about that. These moments that happen to us when you look back, it changes the way you think. Everything's how we think, and so
Mhm.
yeah. The question is, what moment in your life shifted the way you think, or impacted you, and you know you would not be who you are today without that moment?
So there's two big ones, and they're related, heavily
Okay.
related. The first one was the health scare. So, like so many of you and you, Jane, and all these incredible moms, working moms that have balanced everything their whole lives, that outperform, that overperform, that are goal driven. I was very much that woman since age 5. Been a businesswoman for a really long time. And I was never one of those women who believed that stress actually caused illness, or that meditation was real, or that I needed to put myself first. I always put everybody else first, right? Like so many women do.
Yeah.
But it caught up with me one day. And it caught up with me while I was driving my SUV through my neighborhood. And I heard this voice in the back seat that told me to turn around. And there was no one in the back seat. But when I looked in the rearview mirror to check that, it's when I realized I was having a stroke at age 51.
Oh
And
my
that from
goodness.
that moment, everything changed from my physicality to my mindset. So that
So,
was the big moment.
so, that's a scary thought. I mean, we all hear about people having strokes, and we all know the signs and stuff. But you're driving, and so you
Yeah.
had this voice, this inner voice that said, "Turn around."
So I think it was God.
Yeah.
It depends on what you believe. But the voice sounded like a very close friend of mine. Her name is Beth Parks, and
Hmm.
she is the North Carolina Stroke Association director. And it was very clear turnaround.
Oh,
And she had taught me years ago what to do when something like this happens. And I never thought I'd need it, but apparently it came through. I managed to dial my husband and call him, somehow get the SUV turned around and back into my driveway. And by the time I got back to my driveway, my arm was not working, and I literally collapsed on my steering wheel on my horn. And the next thing I knew it, I was awake in the ICU. And there's a
oh my
whole story
goodness.
behind that. But I was lucky, I was really, really lucky because it was a minor stroke. And in 3 days in the ICU, I could walk again, I could talk again. I had a $99,000 hospital bill I had to contend with. So I was still incredibly lucky. But one of the things that affected my life from that point on was the doctor telling me how lucky I was and how now that I've had one, there's a really good chance I was going to have another one and it was probably going to be bigger. So instead of really latching onto that in a positive way, I spent the next 4 years latching onto that in a really negative way. And I hid and I was scared. And every day I woke up, I thought that was going to be the day, but this was it. And so I took a smaller job in a smaller town with smaller responsibilities to try to manage the stress. But it turns out when you're a workaholic, you're a workaholic. So you really have to deal with the mindset piece, which leads to my second big moment that mattered. And that was meeting my current coach, Maya Camarada, who Jane and I both know, who changed my way of thinking about this and about being. And her simple statement of, what if instead of living in fear, you lived with a fierceness that you were doing everything in your power to prevent it? And from that day forward, which was about 7 months ago, everything shifted. I changed everything, including losing 61 pounds, including
Wow.
exercising daily, including being very positive and actually manifesting joy every day, like being in abundance and being thankful for everything. I went from chasing to choosing, which is another big phrase that I love that another coach told me once. Are you chasing everything in your life, or are you choosing everything in your life? And I think my whole life up until the stroke, I was chasing. I was chasing the next promotion, the next car, the next house, the next thing, versus choosing how I wanted to live. So
Wow.
Maya led me to Bo Eason, who led me to tell my story, gave me the bravery to do that, who led me to um, Debs Rademacher, Jackie Roche, and Paula Holt, who are in the Habits of Health program that caused the weight loss that I consider responsible for my weight loss in addition to my own efforts. So just all these coaches together, along with Dr. Edie Wadsworth, you can't do it alone. If you're going to make this
Right.
kind of major change, you need help. You need
Yeah.
people. You need your people, and I feel like I found my people.
Oh my goodness. So I want I love this. So I feel like, okay, because I want to mention Maya, because we both have worked with Maya and
Sure,
she's incredible and
sure.
she so needs to be honored so people know who she is. But
Yeah.
if we go back to, I want to go back just to that when you turned around, you went and you're back in your driveway
Yes.
and then you collapsed. So was your husband there? Did you say?
So my husband was 30 miles away on a bike ride. He's an avid cyclist.
Mm.
So I called him, and I very calmly, before I turned it around, I pulled over. I called, I don't know how I managed to dial the phone, but I called him. And I very calmly said, honey, I think you need to get home. I think I'm having a stroke. And he didn't understand me because it was loud. He was in the woods. He was riding. At least that's what I thought. So I said it again louder. And I said it again a third time with a cuss word and got frustrated, turned the car around, collapsed.
Oh,
My mom was living with us at the time, so she heard the horn. She had just recovered from a quadruple bypass. Because the legacy in my family, another thing that I'm changing, is that everyone in my family has passed away from an obesity related issue. And I was going right down that path. My aunt, my
wow.
mom, my grandmother, the whole
Yeah.
bit. So she came running out, got an ambulance there. I don't really remember much about the ambulance ride. I do remember waking up in the ICU and lots of people being around me and being really confused and wondering where I was and why they were asking me these questions and why I could not get anything out of my mouth to answer their questions. All I could see was little building blocks that babies play with and children play with, that little wooden blocks that have letters and numbers. Could not get a word out of my mouth until my
Okay,
husband
so
showed up.
the stroke was did affect your language. That did
It
you
did.
feel like when you woke up, did you feel scared?
Yes.
Okay, because
Scared
I
to death.
yeah.
Yeah,
I,
scared. In fact, my first real sentence was as my husband busted through the door. I have no idea how much time elapsed. But when I saw him, I remember thinking, oh, we can go home now. And I said, honey, I am so scared. Please don't leave me. But that's not what came out of my mouth. So what came out of my mouth, much to my surprise, I found out later, was, honey, I'm so scared. Please don't hit me, which he
oh,
has never hit me. All the like everything went silent and then I passed out again. So I
oh
found
my
that out a day
goodness.
later when I woke up. So
Wow.
he thought
Because
he was going
this
to jail. Yeah, there's a
oh,
whole story there too.
yeah. What did you say? What?
I said he thought he was going to
Oh,
jail. It's funny now. It was not funny then.
no. No. But this is such a huge moment because you're doing this life of chasing, 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 and going, and working, and looking for everything outside. If I get this, if I get this, if I get more, and I'm better, and I'm up here, and and then bam, you have this stroke. So your thoughts are literally, you were living in your brain of your crazy thoughts and that more. And then you have the stroke, which is the scariest thing. We all like, that's something we just wouldn't want to happen. And I find it so fascinating because now here you are in this hospital bed, and your life is going to change now. So then I get it. You went through 4 years of being that scared. It would be scary, like a walking time bomb, right?
Exactly, because I latched on to that doctor in that ER. I mean, the reality is I worked with a neurologist for 3 months and he said, you have a perfectly normal brain, go live your life. But I kept hearing that doctor, you're going to have another one, you're going to have another one, which is not always the case. Only 25% of people that have them have another one. And for those that are doing what I did, losing the weight, getting off the meds, exercising, very rare that it ever happens again.
Yeah.
So I'm not scared anymore at all.
Yeah. So the interesting thing, and this is what, and I was listening to Michael Singer this morning, actually, and something he said, this is similar to this, because he said you can go through your life and so if that one doctor had never said that to you, that little sentence that stuck in your brain, you would have thought differently. So Michael Singer would say that moment, that just one moment of those words coming out of his mouth, don't let that affect all these other moments. Like so it's learning to let go of that. I mean, that's not true.
Exactly.
So I find this interesting. So now, so here you are, and you're like done with where you're living. You're overweight. You weren't healthy. You found Maya Camarado.
I did.
So Maya Camarado, if anyone listening, is the most almost makes me get emotional.
I know, right?
Yeah, she's the most beautiful woman. She's an incredible story. She's a transformational coach, leader. I worked with her for a year. So Deanna and I met, and she changes the way you live your life, the way you think, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful experience. Gift to yourself to work with her. So you made a huge mindset
because
shift.
of something she said, which was what if you reframe it? What if instead of being afraid of it, you do everything in your power to prevent it? And that was the turning point of changing everything, of how I show up every day, of the choices I make, of what I put in my mouth from a food perspective, of how I choose to feel, and of how I react to things and how I deal with stress. Like that one sentence from her changed everything.
So think about this. And that's what Deanna and I were talking a little bit before this. I really believe when I'm doing these Compassion Project interviews, if one thing that Deanna says, someone's listening, shifts the way they think, then it's so worth it, because there's so much power in our words, and we have to be careful as humans when we're out interacting with other people. Like what we say is important.
Absolutely.
And it can stick. Just even as children, you say one thing to a child and forever they think they're not smart or they're not this. Our words are so powerful.
I so agree. Our thoughts are so powerful as well. I used to see it as a deficit and hide from it. I didn't want anyone to know it, my new job, because I thought they would think I was broken or not enough. But now I see it as a gift, which is really weird to think a stroke as a gift. It was. It made me stop and pause and change. And it's just what I needed at the time.
And they say the personal growth mentors, leaders, that a lot of people will have something that happens that's like bam, changes them. But you don't need to go through something tragic or something. You can change. You don't need to be, in a car accident or have a stroke. You don't need to. You can choose to be like, I'm going to learn to change what I think without a massive event, which is empowering, right? But
absolutely. Doesn't have to be a huge deal. It can be a small deal or a small step towards something that you really want or that you dream about and don't believe that you can actually achieve, right?
Right. So, and I know that some people that are listening are going to be like, okay, wait a second, how did she lose 60 pounds in how long?
So 61 pounds, I weigh on Monday mornings. Today's Monday. 61 pounds as of this morning, 6 months and 1 week. And that's
incredible.
I know. And at age 57. So that's like, I didn't think this was even possible, but I found these amazing coaches, this amazing program, Habits of Health. I now coach for them too. So if you
Habits
want to
of
know
health.
more, habits of health, there's a bigger name for it too, but I only share that if you reach out to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not just diet. It's literally coaches and community and changing your mindset and just the right mix of everything to be able to do something like this.
Yeah.
For
So
sure.
I would love, like, anyone who is listening, like, definitely we'll put a link, any links you want in the comments. So if someone's watching, they're like, I really want to lose weight, I want to know what she did, we'll put the link in there, and then you can reach out to Deanna if you want to connect with her. So yeah, because I know are you developing a coaching program yourself?
So I am. So my mission in life now is to help 1 million women find their joy, especially executive burned out women that never put themselves first. And part of that joy can be your health. Some people need that as well. Some people don't. But really, it's a whole mind, body, spirit, soul thing.
It
So yeah,
is, and I
working
tell
on
you,
it.
once you start, I really believe when you start to shift your mindset and become very aware of how you're thinking, because a lot of us, if when you're not aware, we'll sabotage ourselves, our bodies, everything. We won't,
So
you know what I
true.
mean? So when you get control, you think, wow, that's not a thought that's serving me. If I'm looking in the mirror saying I'm fat, instead you go like, I'm healthy, I'm amazing. You will start making healthier choices. It's
There's
kind
a
of,
reason they call it comfort food, right? Because you're giving yourself comfort by eating instead of dealing with the emotion that you need to deal with.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
Deanna, did you know I was listening to, I don't remember who now, but they say when we're little, you fall and you cry or you're upset. What does your mommy do? Like, here, have a cookie, sweetie, or have an ice
Oh
cream.
my gosh,
Think about
yes.
this. Think about this. This impacted me. It's like, because with my grandchildren, I have to watch it. Like, it's like, well, you're crying. It's okay. Here's a sucker. Do you want a jelly bean? You're upset. Here's some jelly beans. We learn
Good,
so
good
young.
point.
We
Yeah,
learn so young that food comforts when we're upset. So unfortunately, then we get older and we're upset on big levels, and we're reaching for the cookies and the cake and the unhealthy choices. But it was in our poor little brains as a child that.
yeah.
So
A lot of reprogramming that needs to go on up here to make
yeah,
that work,
that's
right?
a
Yeah,
whole nother.
absolutely. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a whole nother 20-minute interview right there.
When you get that, you're like, whoa, I used to, and I do that with my kids. I did that too.
Yeah,
Anyway,
eat your
okay.
feelings, stuff it down. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So again, becoming aware and all that. But anyone who wants to reach out to her, I'll put her links in the comments. So I have a second question, and it is, what meaningful message would you like to share with the
Mhm.
world? So if you had, like, just a few minutes, you're like, oh, I have this message, I just want to share it. What would it be?
That it's okay, even at my age, 57, to chase your dreams. That it's okay to put yourself first, and that self-care is the best possible gift you can give to everyone in your family. Because when you're healthy and happy, they're healthy and happy. That's my message.
Oh, I love it. It's true. And you don't try to change anyone in your family. You just change yourself, and
Exactly.
they will follow, and your whole relationships will change when.
And that is happening. My husband is actually down 12 pounds. He is following, which is great.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. And favorite book?
Oh my gosh, I have so many. When Love Speaks, Jane, the one that you're
Oh,
in.
Maya Camarado's
Yes.
book.
But
When
your story
Love
is in there as well, is it
No,
not?
it's not. No, I'm not in that. No,
Oh,
no.
maybe the next one.
Maybe another time. Yeah. And favorite quote?
Reach for the stars, even if you miss. No, reach for the moon, even if you miss. You'll land among stars is one of my favorites. And another one is um, even if you have to take small, tiny tiptoe steps, move towards that place of change that's going to change your life. It doesn't have to be big overnight. Little tiny steps make a difference.
Oh, I love it. I think you're amazing.
Oh, I think you're amazing too. Thanks so
Thank,
much.
thank you so much for joining me today. And thank you for everyone who is watching. And yeah, I'm sure we'll have you on another time to share
Anytime.
some more.
Anytime. Love to
I'm all
help.
about finding joy. You're about the corporate executives. I'm about probably more the women housewives that have it all and they can't see the joy. It's not there. Like,
There's a
when
lot of
how can
that going on as well. Yeah.
you? Okay, thank you.
Take care, Jane. Bye
Thank you,
bye.
everyone. Okay, bye.